Hello again, fans and friends, and welcome to another edition of PD's 4R. My name is PDW2KX, and today I'd like to talk about the first season of The Walking Dead. Originally released all the way back in 2010, The Walking Dead has been the subject of both acclaim and disdain, both glory and controversy. Many people consider it one of television's biggest fall-off TV shows, where the quality noticeably takes a nosedive after multiple earlier seasons of stellar programming. Ask anyone to name a show that started off as one of the GOATs and ended up a bumbling, stumbling, confusing mess. They will likely either say The Walking Dead or Game of Thrones.
You are my queen. Daenerys is our queen. She is our queen. She'll be a good queen. I don't want it. I told you I don't want it. I never wanted a crown.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Fucking thing sucks!
It is a bitter pill to swallow when one of your favorite TV shows suddenly starts sucking ass. It can feel like you've completely wasted your time when you become involved with the show, when you really become a fan, and then it all goes to shit due to bad writing, or sloppy editing, or rushed production, or any other number of reasons. But maybe we're being too harsh here, even if our feelings are justified. Because after rewatching The Walking Dead for the first time in a very long time, I do want to say, judged solely on its own, by itself, on an island, the first season of The Walking Dead is one of the greatest television shows of all time, and there is a strong argument to be made that it is the single greatest piece of zombie fiction ever made. I've always felt that there are only three ingredients you need to make a good TV show: a good director, good actors, and a good story. Everything else, and I do mean everything else involved in producing a television show or movie, all of it is insignificant compared to having a director that knows what they're doing, actors that can make the characters they're portraying feel like real people, and a story that is written well enough that even the most fantastical situations feel believable and real. The first season of The Walking Dead was overseen by Frank Darabont, who is listed as not only the season 1 showrunner, but also the director of the show's pilot episode Days Gone By. And no matter how things ended up turning out, Days Gone By is still considered one of the greatest first episodes of any television show ever. While the entire first season is stellar, Days Gone By is everything that makes this show good, all crammed together in one episode. In just one episode, we're given multiple moments that would go on to define this series forever. Don't Open Dead Inside, the little girl walker, the crawling walker, the first time Rick says Carl and pronounces it like coral, and of course, the iconic scene of Rick riding a horse into the ruins of Atlanta. To this day, the horse scene is widely regarded as one of the show's defining moments. If you ask any random person what scene they think of when they think of The Walking Dead, I really do believe that a large majority of people will name this scene. Of all the things The Walking Dead did wrong over the years, and let's call a spade and admit that they've done plenty wrong, getting rid of Frank Darabont was their original sin, and in my opinion, the worst mistake this show ever made. I consider Frank Darabont a visionary, a virtuoso, capable of making some of the best media that's ever been captured on camera. For those unaware of who I'm talking about, Frank Darabont is the director of two of the greatest films of all time, The Green Mile and The Shawshank Redemption. If you will allow me a brief tangent, fans and friends, I'd like to take this time to say that I consider The Shawshank Redemption my favorite film of all time. It is a very close second to what I consider the greatest film of all time, which is Citizen Kane. Because of how innovative it was, because of how many techniques it pioneered, because of how incredible its story and the performance of its lead actor was, because it redefined the rules of cinema and literally influenced every single film that has ever came out after it, Citizen Kane deserves the widely held belief that it is the greatest film of all time, and I share that opinion. But Shawshank Redemption is my favorite film. The Shawshank Redemption is a movie about never giving up hope, even in the most hopeless of situations. And man, how absolutely perfectly does that align with the theme of The Walking Dead. That's the beauty of cinema, that's the brilliance of Frank Darabont. You couldn't possibly have two more different pieces of media, a deeply philosophical prison drama film and a post apocalyptic zombie TV show, but the theme is the same. Never give up hope, never stop fighting, never stop believing that you have the power to change your circumstances. Keeping hope alive, despite being in a seemingly hopeless situation, is the defining theme of both The Shawshank Redemption and The Walking Dead Season 1. And it is a fucking tragedy that the show lost sight of this through the years as they attempted one cheap ratings ploy after the next.
What happened to you, man?
But even one of the best directors of all time, which Frank Darabont is, fight me on this one, I dare you, even one of the GOATs needs good actors to make compelling television. And the cast of The Walking Dead Season 1 is an all-star assortment of incredible actors. The only reason a lot of Walking Dead fans have tolerated the deluge of spin-offs that have come out is because it gives them a chance to see more of their favorite actors portraying their favorite characters. Andrew Lincoln as Rick Grimes, John Bernthal as Shane, Sarah Wayne Callies as Lori, Lori Holden as Andrea. I could keep going, so I am going to keep going. Jeffrey DeMunn as Dale, Stephen Yeun as Glenn, Lenny James as Morgan, Michael Rooker as Merle Dixon, Norman Reedus as Daryl Dixon, Melissa McBride as Carol, Noah Emmerich as Dr. Edwin Jenner. During the first season of The Walking Dead, every single one of those actors put on some of the best performances of their entire career. They breathed life into their roles in a way that everything they said, and everything they did, and everything that happened to them felt real. They captured magic on the screen. It truly felt like all these characters were really living through the endless nightmare of a zombie apocalypse. Nobody made mistakes because they were dumb or because the writers couldn't think of any better way to get the story where it needed to go. They made mistakes because they were panicked and scared, or frustrated and angry, or because they were losing touch with their humanity after being constantly surrounded by death and destruction. Too many zombie films and TV shows skip the apocalypse part of post-apocalypse in order to get straight to the brain eating and people murder. But in The Walking Dead Season 1, each character struggles internally to accept the fact that the world as they knew it is over, and that the world as it is now is a place where they'll be fighting for their lives forever. Some can't cope with the pressure and decide to end things. Some cope with the pressure by losing their humanity and adopting the philosophy of the ends justify the means, which really means I will do whatever I need to do in order to keep myself and the ones I care about alive. And others, no matter how hard they try, no matter how many precautions they take, sometimes they just get unlucky and end up as zombie food. And that's just brutal. That's unforgiving. Fighting until your last breath, struggling every day to provide food and shelter for your loved ones, never knowing if today is the day you and everyone you've ever cared about gets eaten alive and torn to shreds. That is a zombie post-apocalypse.
Is there anything realer than that?
So, The Walking Dead Season 1 absolutely nails the most important aspect of any zombie TV show, the struggle for survival. But, to no one's surprise, the second most important aspect of any zombie TV show is, drumroll please, the zombies themselves. So let's talk a little bit about how incredible the production and sets of The Walking Dead Season 1 were. I spoke a little bit about how iconic the crawling zombie and the little girl zombie were, But by no means was that the only iconic zombie scene in this zombie TV show. Rick's first encounter with a zombie horde was surprising, disorienting, and terrifying. And that's exactly how a zombie horde should be portrayed. One minute you think you're fine, the next minute there's 50 to 100 people all trying to kill you. The scene where Rick and Glenn cover themselves in zombie guts and try to make it past the horde, damn, that scene was incredible too. You could cut the tension in that scene with a knife. It's so well shot and well acted that you feel like you're right there with them, one small spurt of rain away from drawing all the walkers' attention, hoping against hope that if anything comes too close and takes a sniff, they won't be able to smell the human meat because of all the dead meat. Everything about the zombies was great. Credit goes to all the extras that had to endure hours of makeup just to be another faceless person in the mob. And you need those dozens and dozens of extras to make a zombie TV show believable. The show says it in its very first episode. Alone, the walkers aren't that difficult to deal with, but in a group, it is a different story. And credit to the costume and makeup department, how amazing is it that no two zombies ever really look alike on this show? One zombie might have a missing arm, one zombie might be shambling because one of their ankles is twisted and broken, some are so decomposed that they can barely crawl, others that are fresher can almost run. Some look almost normal other than the fact that they're dead, others have their face practically hanging off or giant holes blown through their body. It's just another way that the show really drives home the fact that this zombie virus has affected everyone and everything, and that it really is the end of the world. Wrapping things up here, it's important to come back to the point that The Walking Dead would go on to become extremely hit and miss over the years. Many people still feel like the show had more bad episodes than good, and currently, there's a general feeling that all the spin offs were a cheap ploy to try and create the next big interconnected universe. By the time the show ended, nobody really felt like The Walking Dead needed the Marvel Cinematic Universe treatment, where it's this big interconnected multimedia juggernaut. It's important to me that I don't run from this point, and that I don't sugarcoat things. So, if you're blown away by how amazing the first season of The Walking Dead is, you're not alone. But if you keep watching the show because of how good it was initially, only for your experience to turn sour and ultimately end up tasting like ashes in your mouth, well, you're not alone there either.
I feel your pain.
We'll get through this together.
But when it was good, it was better than great. Nothing the show has done, and nothing any of the spin offs ever could possibly do, will ever be able to take away the fact that The Walking Dead was once one of the best shows ever, even if it only held that status for a brief period of time. I know we all wish the glory days could have lasted longer, but you can say that about anything, really. And that's the video, fans and friends. Thank you for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe if you feel like liking and subscribing. This has been PD's 4R. I have been PDW2KX, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.